According to reports from Mark Feinsand, John Denton, and Brian McTaggart of MLB.com, the Cardinals and the Astros were in discussions. Remember, we got a report a few days ago that the Astros became serious contenders for Arenado, that they were in discussions on a trade to send him to Houston, but Nolan Arenado said, absolutely not. I am not going to Houston. We are not going to do that. And, in a way, it's a little surprising, right? We'll get to Nolan Arenado's or trade approved or teams that his list of teams that he's approved. But in a way, it's still kind of surprising because you think of the Astros, right? They've been such a successful organization over the years, right? Go back to, 2015, 2016 when they first made it to the wild card game there. And then, they just went on this great run. They've been at the top of the American League for a while now. But we might be seeing a bit of a transitory period here with the Astros where, they've had to give up Kyle Tucker here in the last few days to bring back a club control guy like Isak Paredes. But they also have to start worrying about that farm a little bit. They got to start bringing that up a little bit. So the Astros, they're kind of in this weird spot, but still, right? They've been so successful over the years. And in a way, it was kind of surprising to see Nolan Arenado say no to the Astros. But we did get another report here from Katie Woo and Chandler Rome that supposedly, let me find the quote here, that Kyle Tucker, him getting traded, was part of it. And I did see where, again, I always lose the quotes. Oh, here we go. That list originally did include the Astros, right? We'll get to that list in just a second. Though one source said Houston's trade of Kyle Tucker and the uncertainty over Alex Bregman returning may have changed Arenado's mind, right? So at this point, it's either going to be Arenado or, not Arenado now, but it was looking like it was either going to be Bregman or Arenado because you can just put Isak Paredes at first base. So yeah, it's interesting now, right? Now you wonder, will Bregman and the Astros come back together and figure out something? I think you could see that happening here. We'll see. But again, a little surprising in my opinion. The Astros have been so good for a while, and I felt like he would have been a great fit there with the Crawford boxes and everything. Good park to hit in for him, even with the regression of the bat. We have seen, right, the batted ball metrics come down over the last couple of years, but this is a guy that's still a pull guy. He did make some adjustments this year towards the end of the year where it looked like maybe some things were coming together a little bit, but, still a big question mark moving forward. If you put him at a hitter-friendly park like Minute Maid, or is it Minute Maid now? What's the new name of the park? It's not Minute Maid Park. I'm just going to keep calling it Minute Maid Park because I've been saying that for years. Houston, he would fit very well there. So there were a lot of good things going for that to happen, in my opinion, but in the end, that's not what he wanted to do, right? Now, we did have this a little while ago where we had a list of teams that he would be willing to go to. It says here, Dodgers, Padres, Angels, along with the Phillies, Mets, or the Red Sox. Now, let's kind of go through these teams. Well, we've already gotten a report that the Dodgers aren't really interested in Nolan Arenado, right? That was starting to pick up some steam. He put out this Instagram post a little while ago saying, he put a song on his picture or something called Dodger Blue. He grew up a Dodger fan. You were wondering, if you're connecting dots, maybe he was really wanting to go to the Dodgers, but in the end, if they're not interested, what can you do? But they already have a third baseman, Max Muncy. One of the ideas out there was Muncy could move to second base. He even went on foul territory and said, I would be willing to move wherever, whatever the Astros want me to do, or not Astros, the Dodgers, whatever they want me to do, I'll do it. Arenado, yeah, you could have worked him in here, but in the end, the Dodgers don't seem to be all that interested, according to the reports. The Angels are really interesting. The Angels are just that team every year, man. Every year. They're just such a... It's like you want them to do well because they had Trout, they had Ohtani, but they just don't. every year, and you always have for so long. I remember going into every year, at least with me, I'm thinking, man, the Angels, if they can just put something together here, they could be pretty good. And they just never do it, right? They just fail every single time. And you have no idea what this team is going to be next year. It doesn't look very hot right now. But you got a situation here with Anthony Rendon, right? He's got a lot of money left on this contract. It will probably go down as one of the worst contracts of all time, if not the worst, right? A 7-year, $245 million deal. He's got 2 years left on it. He is owed $38.5 million in each of the next 2 years. Listen, the Angels in the past, they have cut ties on contracts, right? One example being Justin Upton, all right? So they have, they've done Albert Pujols, remember? A couple of years ago. That had 1 year left on the deal, if I remember correctly. I think Justin Upton had a couple of years, or maybe it was a year. I can't fully remember. But they have cut ties, and they have, paid money out to those guys, even though they were getting paid a lot of money. They were paying them to just not be on the team, just to get them off and give playing time to other guys. I wonder if the Angels do that here. My personal thinking, and I could be wrong, I'm wrong a lot, so we'll see what happens, but I feel like they want to give it one more shot. Go into the year, first half of the season, let's see if he can get himself right. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we maybe saw the Angels give him a couple months, see if he can get himself right, and then you just cut him. I think the Red Sox, when they cut Pablo Sandoval, that was another terrible contract. When they cut him, I think that I really can't remember when that was, like what month. I feel like that was in the early going of the whatever season he got cut. What was that, 2017? Or was it 2018, I feel like? Anyway, I wonder if that's what the Angels do. Give him a couple months, try and let him earn it. Or let's see, maybe even after spring training, if he's not hitting well and if he's hurt, whatever it may be, maybe he ends up getting cut out of spring. They've already come out and said he's not guaranteed a roster spot. He's going to have to earn it. We'll see. But, could the Angels possibly cut ties and maybe turn to Nolan Arenado? I mean, it would be better than what they've been getting. They've been getting no production from him, at least with Arenado, even though the bat is regressing. At least it would give you something over Anthony Rendon. Now, the Padres. Well, the Padres don't really sound, right off the bat, they don't sound like a team that would be in on Arenado, right? They've had some payroll issues over the last couple of years, and Arenado, when you factor in, if the Cardinals pay money on the contract and then they move him, right? And then you work in the deferred money, which doesn't count towards the actual cash, right, up front, that doesn't work into the AAV. Let's say the Cardinals end up paying around $15-20 million bucks. You're going to end up seeing an AAV around $15 million because the AAV resets per the collective bargaining agreement when you get traded. So based off of how much money is owed. So he wouldn't be too much of a hit to the payroll with the Padres, but what are they willing to take on? But then you get to the position part of it, right? You got Machado at third base. Could you imagine two very good defensive third basemen on the same team? You could make it work if Arenado plays first base. You move Luis Ariz somewhere, or what you could do, I'd actually really like to hear Padres fans' opinions on this. Padres fans, if you're listening, if you're there, listen to me. Would Jake Cronenworth be a viable option in left field? Would he? I know he hasn't played out there, but he's moved around in the infield. He comes off as a guy that could possibly be open to playing left field. I don't know. But if you did that, I know that's very out of the box. What do I know? But I'm saying if you did move him out to left field, Ariz, I know he's not a great defender, but you could put him at second base, and then Arenado could be your first baseman. So, right, Joshua, yeah, -1 outs above average. Machado has a good track record defensively. So, but, that's an idea. Probably not, though. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there. Now, you got the Phillies, right? Now, the Phillies, they've been on the trade block a lot, or when it comes to Alec Bohm. They're trying to get all the star players out there for Alec Bohm, right? They tried including him in a deal for Kyle Tucker. Nope, didn't work. What was the other one? Mason Miller with the A's. Nope, that's not going to do it. So Dave Dombrowski, I think he thinks Alec Bohm is basically Juan Soto. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I get it. He's a good player, right? You know, he's, he didn't do so hot in the second half. But Bohm, he's a guy that, he's under control for a couple years. He's going to give you some pretty steady offense for the most part. Put him 5th or 6th in the lineup, and there you go. So, but yeah, Alec Bohm, he's not going to land you, a top player out there. So Dave Dombrowski, listen, I loved you when you were on the Red Sox, but come on, my friend, you got to get a little more realistic. But Alec Bohm, yeah, I see you in the chat, Dilcor. Yeah, you're not going to get Shohei Ohtani for Alec Bohm, Dave Dombrowski. Stop it. But if you were to move him somehow, if you kind of came to your senses a little bit and you did move him somewhere, possibly maybe like Seattle or something like that, they could use a third baseman. Then that could pave the way for Arenado, right? So that could be something. Could you imagine this team with all these veteran guys, these veteran names like Harper and Turner and Schwarber, Castellanos and Arenado? I mean, that's just such a gritty veteran team, man. A part of me, I think of like Mike Schmidt, right? With Mike Schmidt, great defensive third baseman. I mean, that'd be pretty cool storyline for Arenado to go to Philly. Now, what are the expected home runs in Philly with Arenado? You would get a little bit of a boost in Philly. 19 home runs for the expected amount. Could be pretty fun. Maybe Philly, but they got to work something out there. That's kind of, you look at you go back to the comments that Dave Dombrowski made, right? You maybe need to smooth out the edges, work on the edges a little bit. Could that be something where, with Alec Bohm, what was the defense like? I feel like it was pretty average for the most part. No, it was pretty good at 5.7. Okay, what were the outs above average here? We had 4 outs above. Okay, so, he's going to give you a pretty solid third base overall. So, I mean, would you get a big upgrade with Nolan Arenado? I mean, if you get a bit of a boost in the home runs, maybe work out a couple of things with the bat, maybe you end up getting around the same production. I wouldn't think he's going to get more production. You're not going to get more production out of Arenado than you would with Alec Bohm. So I feel like that's just a lateral move. I guess one way you could look at it, Alec Bohm, trade him, bring in some other pieces, and then you basically just take on the contract of Nolan Arenado. So you could look at it like that, right? A lateral move in a way, but at least you're getting other guys with Alec Bohm coming into the fold. I also do want to talk about that with Arenado. Now, when it comes to a trade, I'll get to the next teams in just a second, but when it comes to a trade of Arenado, I'm going to prepare you. You are probably going to be looking at something like the Cody Bellinger trade, right? Because Arenado is an underwater contract. We saw a report today with all of this that the Cardinals were willing to eat $5 million over the next 3 years, $15 million total. Now, with Arenado, let's go to baseball trade values. You all know I love my baseball trade values. And let's go take a look-see. All right. We can go to the player value timelines. I believe they already have Arenado set up here. So here is his future trade value. As of right now, right, he has a remaining salary of right around $60 million. And he has a remaining projected field value of around $45 million. So you're looking at right around a $15 million difference. If the Cardinals paid $15 million, well, that's going to bring the underwater contract back to even, right? So if you pay, if the report was true, if they were paying $15 million, it's basically they're paying a little cash and they're just dumping the salary, right? Please take them off our hands. Pretty much the Cody Bellinger trade. Maybe you'd get back like a low-level prospect or like a depth starter, right? You saw a lot of people out there saying, oh, the Cubs, they got fleeced. They got fleeced for Cody Bellinger. Yeah, an MLB The Show, maybe. if you take off salaries and whatnot, yeah, okay, yeah, Cody Petit for Cody Bellinger. I mean, yeah, that sounds ridiculous. I mean, what are you talking? That gives you nightmares going to sleep. But we got to start. Like, I saw a lot of people reacting on Twitter. I saw videos of people freaking out. I don't know. Like, just, like, what are we talking? Come on. It's almost 2025. We need to start thinking in terms of it's not just the player. You have to look at the contract. You got to look at the economics. Come on. Do you know how many times I saw people say the Cubs got fleeced on the deal? Yes, player-wise, of course, right? Bellinger is going to give you more talent, but that's not how front offices think, right? It depends on what's going on with the team. What's the team looking at when it comes to salary or with the payroll, The Cubs also brought in Kyle Tucker. I mean, they want to get that guy extended. I'm sure that's going to be their number one goal for this entire year. There was no room for Cody Bellinger. There was none. I mean, yes, he would have worked, but where's Peter Crow Armstrong going to play? It's like, spare me. We got to cut this out. We got to cut it out. But yes, Cody Petit, Bellinger, yeah, that's ridiculous. But it's the contract. Same thing here with Arenado. Cardinals pay a little bit, just like the Cubs did. They paid around $5 million. The Yankees wanted them to pay 10, but they settled on 5. And then here, the Cardinals, it looks like they're going to be willing to pay around $15 million. That's fair, because when you take a look at his remaining projected field value, right around $45 million compared to the remaining salary of around $60, well, that's where the $15 million comes from. There you go, right? It's always, I love seeing when the dots get connected there. Anyway, but just pointing out, long rant right there, but you're pretty much not going to have to give up anything for Arenado. Pretty much a depth guy, maybe a low-level prospect. I mean, maybe like a reliever or something like that. You're not giving up any stars. I'm gonna warn you all right now. When a trade happens, if it does, get ready for the comments. Get ready. Oh my God, what? They gave up Nolan Arenado for a double-A relief pitcher? Oh, the Cardinals, they got fleeced. Oh. What kind of a trade is that? Oh, the Cardinals, they're not a serious franchise. Oh, get ready for it, everyone, because it's going to happen. I'm telling you, get ready for it. I can't wait. It's going to happen. Nando 390 is ready for it. Cardinals got fleeced. Let's move on. Anyway, let's get back to the next team. The Mets, right? The Mets, they got a bit of a pitcher-friendly park. I don't know if his bat would really play very well there. I mean, if you're looking at the Illustrator, you're kind of, those outs that he got, they're still looking like they're going to be outs. I mean, maybe a couple could have gone out. I don't know, but you're not really seeing much of a difference, right? Where if you looked at the Astros, I mean, look at all these now. I mean, these are home runs, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking right there. So, that's where he should go to a park that's going to favor him pretty well. So the Mets, I mean, yeah. But you got to figure out what's going on with Brett Baty. Is Brett Baty your guy moving forward? I don't know. Nick, maybe the Cardinals can talk the Rockies into paying another $50 million. Oh, God. Here's another thing. I guarantee no one will say I wonder if people will say anything about the money aspect. The Rockies, they paid $50 million, right? But you got to think back at the time, he had so much more money owed, right? So the $50 million at the time, I mean, he was so underwater back a few years ago because he had so much money owed and his projections weren't looking great because he had injuries and whatnot. So, they were getting dogged on a lot. But I wonder if you end up seeing anyone say, oh, the Cardinals, oh man, they paid $15 million just to trade Arenado. You probably won't see anyone say that, but they'll always remember the Rockies one though. Anyway, Brett Baty, third base. What's the deal there? I don't know. But Arenado would give them a steady option there. Good defense. Maybe the Mets could get involved. Sorry, but here comes Giraffe Neck Robbie. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I think the Red Sox, they just make the most sense. right now, especially if the Astros, if they're unable to get something done. I think the Astros, arguably are the better fit right now for Arenado when you look at it in terms of just plug and play. You can just put him at third, Paredes at first, right? The Red Sox, it's a little complicated. It's a little complicated. I see you, Shrexy guy. Maybe the Yankees, right? Possible. Don't know if the bat plays at Yankee Stadium very much, but that can work. Anyway, the Red Sox, I mean, you got to figure out what to do with Rafi, Tristan Casas. What's the deal there? If you add Arenado, yes, that would improve the defense at third base. Rafi, could he move to first? DH? There's a big debate right now. Rafi at first base. I don't know. There comes a point where every offseason, if you feel like you keep hearing the same thing being put out there, there's probably some kind of thinking going on behind the scenes that it's probably been discussed. We keep seeing Rafi being brought up as a possible option at first base. Listen, I don't think that's coming from nowhere. I don't think it's coming from nowhere. I mean, it's been brought up like 80 million times up to this point. But they're not going to show their hand because you don't want to put it out there that Rafi, we want Rafi to be a first baseman, right? We want to go move Rafi to first. We want to go get a third baseman. Well, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. You say it when the move happens, right? Because you don't want to put that in his head right now. Because what if it doesn't? What if you're unable to get a third baseman? What if it doesn't happen? Well, now you've created some bad, feelings, and then you didn't even get Arenado, and then Rafi stays a third anyway. So, if anything, I think the Red Sox, maybe they look at it as like, oh, well, if we put it out there, but we just deny it, but if maybe something gets put out there, maybe that could even push Rafi to really work on the defense this offseason. Maybe, get into get a bit leaner out there, a little more slim, right? Get a little bit more mobile at third base, right? Maybe even just putting those little things out there. Because he's probably seeing it, I would imagine. His agent obviously has already talked about it. So I would imagine Rafi is hearing that noise. He's not being told directly, I would think. But in a way, maybe that can motivate him a little bit. Oh, what are these reports? Arenado for the Red Sox. I'm the third baseman. Well, I'm going to bust my hiney this offseason, and I'm going to show you I'm the third baseman. But then if you get Arenado, okay, then he's your third baseman. And then Rafi, you have the talk. Rafi, listen, we think you could be good at first. We think you could be good at first. I don't know. Just an idea. I would rather have him at DH, personally. I don't know. But then I think of guys like Kevin Youkilis back in the day. All right, Kevin Youkilis did it. He was average at third base for the most part. Ended up being better at first base. Rafi is below average at third base. I mean, you could say really below average. So I think if anything, he would be an average first baseman at best. I don't know, but I'd rather take an average first baseman over a terrible defensive third baseman. Or let me rephrase that. I'd rather take an average first baseman over a terrible third baseman. Right? That's just me. I don't know. That's just me. Third base is the more important position, in my opinion. Yes, first base, you got a lot of things going on. You got the cutoffs, you got the pickoffs. I get that. But, this is why, come on. You go into the offseason, spring training, you just work on it. Right? Anyway, whatever. We don't even know if it's going to happen. But Arenado, he would be a huge upgrade at third base for the Red Sox. He could play first base maybe on some days. But then again, what happens with Tristan Casas, right? That's the big thing. Are they going to move him? I don't know. I feel like he's been brought up a lot, but it seems like that's calmed down a little bit now. So now I wonder, is Casas going to end up getting moved? I would love to keep the bat. I think it makes a lot of sense to keep the bat. But I wonder if maybe the Red Sox, they wonder about the health with him moving forward. He's had some injuries. I don't know. I don't know what they think. So, but Casas, I would love to keep that bat in the lineup for years to come. But we'll see. We'll see here, but there's a lot of options for Arenado. I did find these reports a little surprising. Again, I thought he would have been a good fit. So, but everyone, let's move on here. Let's move on. We got a little Roki Sasaki. How about Roki Sasaki in the news? Where's the Roki article that we had? Here's the Roki article. Roki today. We haven't really heard much on him as of late. But we got a little something, right? Right. I believe he has he been when so the international signing period is January 15th. That's when it starts. The bonus pool money will be reset by that time. So it looks like he will be ready to go at that point, right? So we're still a ways away from seeing anything on Roki at this point, but we got an article today. Let's dive into it, shall we? They kind of really broke it down, right? Which teams are in it. They talked here saying, because Sasaki, he's not going to be getting, Yamamoto kind of money. He is subjected to the international bonus pool because he lacks the playing time and the experience time to be able to be that free agent, right? He would need to stay in Japan for a couple more years, but he's so good, you got to get over here now. So you're looking at the highest possible contract at $7.5 million. It's just like Ohtani, right? Ohtani basically he took like a minor league deal, right? So, and then you just get called up to the majors on day one. So the teams that have the most money to play with in international signing are the Oakland A's. Could you imagine the Oakland A's freaking... Sorry, the Sacramento A's. Oh my goodness, I'm still saying Oakland A's. The Brewers, Mariners, Marlins, Rays, Reds, Tigers, Twins. They have the most money to play with. Then they go into it a little further, right? They say, why wouldn't some teams be in? Really, all 30 teams are going to be in at this point. To me, if I'm one of the 30 Major League Baseball teams, I'm asking for a meeting, right? But then again, there could be some teams out there where he probably wouldn't want to waste his time. I don't know. Could the Sacramento A's be one of those teams? If I'm looking at some teams right off the bat that he wouldn't want to have a meeting with, I'm completely speculating. I have no idea who the guy is. Could the A's be in that conversation? What's going on there? But then again, hey, we're going to Vegas in a few years, man. Looking pretty fun. Come on down. We got Severino, but I'd probably say no on them. I guess the White Sox, did the White Sox get a meeting? I feel like the White Sox got a meeting. I feel like I read that somewhere. I know Ohtani went to the Angels, but the Angels have just been a mess. Would he want to see, how would he think of the Angels right now? I don't know. What team would he not want to talk with? I feel like every team, the Rockies, I would guess he probably won't be like very high on the Rockies. That just a guess for me. I'd probably say those, few teams right there, but moving on. Now, we got some people in the executive world giving votes. And, of course, the Dodgers, they got the most votes, 11. Padres got 7. Now, another thing as well is that his agent, who is the agent again? It's Randy. Is it Randy Wolf? I feel like his last name is Wolf. What is it? Is it Randy Wolf? Anyway, but let me pull up the... Where is it here? Now, he did say that he could possibly prefer a small or mid-market team. Now, we got those reports a little bit ago. Joel Wolf. Randy Wolf. Who is Randy Wolf? Is there a reporter out there named Randy Wolf? Am I getting that mixed up? Or is that a picture? Was that a picture? That was a picture, right? I don't know why I'm thinking Randy Wolf. But he said, hey, small, mid-market team could be maybe a better fit than a big market team, which could make some sense, right? He's eventually going to hit free agency, right? You got to think of that part. He will eventually get there. He's going to make the big bucks if everything goes accordingly. So you could see, a 23-year-old guy, young, coming over to the States. Yamamoto, man, different story, right? This guy had been pitching, a lot over in Japan. He was ready to go into a big market like LA, right? Had Ohtani there, of course, too. So with Roki, though, young guy, maybe wants to get his feet wet a little bit, right? And goes somewhere where there's not going to be a lot of media distraction. I really could see that. That might sound almost like radio talk in a way, but I could see that where really he just wants to focus on developing as a pitcher, especially when you're that young. Now, getting into it further, again, we got the Dodgers. They got 11 votes. The Padres got 7. Then it goes a little more, right? Again, I could see the Padres, right? They talked about here how they're more of a mid-market team. AJ Preller has been all over him for years now. Yu Darvish, right? They're very close. He's a mentor to him. I could see that. It's the West Coast. The Padres check off a lot of boxes. The Dodgers do too. But if you're looking for a slightly smaller market, a bit less distraction, because also, first off, LA is just big media as it is. But then you got Ohtani, you got Yamamoto. You're going to be getting pulled all over the place, right? You got one arm getting pulled this way, one arm getting pulled this way. Hey, Ohtani, Yamamoto, Roki, we need a photo opportunity over here. Hey, we want you to do this commercial over here. It's like, it'd be so much, Maybe he wants that. I don't know, but I could see that. They talked about the Rangers, right? How they signed Yu Darvish, right? Also, back in the day. They've had guys like Koji Uehara. The Giants, right? They got a new front office regime with Buster Posey. They don't really have that history with the Japanese players, but they got the West Coast thing. Maybe the Giants can finally pull something off here. The Mariners have been looked at as a dark horse. Obviously, the Mariners, right? They have done very well with their pitching development, right? Obviously, that pitcher-friendly park in Seattle. I mean, goodness. Roki's going to put up great numbers wherever he goes. What the heck would he do in Seattle with that park? Are you kidding me? My goodness. Crazy. Could you imagine a rotation? George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Roki Sasaki, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. That's just ridiculous. That don't even put it in my head. There are also some people out there saying the Cubs could be serious players, right? The Cubs, you look at them. Obviously, Shota Imanaga, they brought him in along with Seiya Suzuki not too long ago. But the Cubs, they have really put a lot of emphasis in the pitching development in their organization over the last few years. So, maybe they could sell them on something there. Hey, they were able to get Imanaga. Maybe they could do the same thing with Sasaki. Sorry, Giraffe Neck Robbie's coming. The Red Sox are very serious about making a pitch. Well, of course, every team's serious, right? Any team that's going to be involved, they're going to be serious about it. It's Roki freaking Sasaki. The Red Sox, the one, I'd say it's more of a talking point at this point, but you got Daisuke, Koji Uehara, Junichi Tozawa. You've had guys over the years come from Japan. They've had a lot of success, but to me, that's more of a talking point. Sure, it's fun. You put it in the PowerPoint. All right, cool. Daisuke, awesome, legend in Japan, but okay, cool. Sweet. But really, the Red Sox, Craig Breslow, he took over last year. They've revamped that pitching department. They have, partnered up with Driveline, right? Brought in Andrew Bailey. Makes a lot of sense. From that point of view, that's what I think Roki's going to be looking for. Again, if that market is a big emphasis, the Red Sox, they got a pretty decent sized market. So will that be a distraction? I don't know. Now getting to the Yankees and the Mets, right? Now some see the Mets and the Yankees as underdogs, right? The Yankees, according to reports, they have a meeting set up with Roki. I don't know if that's the first meeting, whatever. I don't know, but I guess they have a meeting. But the Yankees, you look at them. All right. Masahiro Tanaka not too long ago. Kei Igawa, Yankee legend, Kei Igawa. You got him. I'm sorry. 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 I take it back. Yankee fans, don't be mad at me. I'm sorry. You know that's funny. Come on. That's funny. But yes, the Yankees, obviously they've had a lot of success with people from Japan, players from Japan. And the Mets recently, right? Kadai Senga, right? So, Kadai Senga. Gotta love it. But the Mets, Yankees, yeah. But they got the big market, just like the Red Sox. Is that going to come into play? I don't know, right? But with the Yankees and the Mets, the teams are looking pretty good right now. I know. Stop it, Mets fans and Yankee fans. Quit trying to bite each other's head off. Yeah, the Yankees, they lost Juan Soto. He's a Met now. But I think the Yankees are looking pretty good right now, if you ask me, right? it's going to take multiple guys to make up for the production of Juan Soto. But I kind of like the way the Yankees are going. I hate to say that, but they're looking pretty good. Can my Red Sox please put their foot on the pedal? Can the Orioles please go make some more moves, for crying out loud? But yeah, Yankees, Mets, sure. They talk about the Phillies and the Blue Jays might be on the outside looking in, but these were teams that were involved with Ohtani back in 2017. Don't forget, the Phillies made a late run at Yoshinobu Yamamoto. According to reports, Toronto, they're just trying to land anyone at this point, it seems. But yeah, there's a lot of things here when it comes to Roki Sasaki. It's not going to be about money. He's far away from getting that big contract, right? What is Roki Sasaki going to get? So if he's going to be 6 years, he just turned 23. So 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. He's going to be hitting free agency at 28 years old. Goodness gracious. He's going to get, if he's healthy and everything is good, and that's in 6 years from now. I mean, good grief. Joshua Lubchinsky is in the chat. Devers to first. I mean, why not? Let's do it. Kevin Youkilis did it. Let's do it. He might be Humpty Dumpty out there, but whatever. If that gets us Arenado, then I'm all for it. Moving on now, some teams that I think, right, kind of going through my own opinion, of course, the Dodgers. Of course, all the reasons for the Dodgers to be involved here for Roki. Why not? I mean, obviously, you got Yamamoto, Ohtani, you got a great team coming off a World Series. Makes all the sense in the world. They develop players very well. Padres, I mentioned them earlier. Yeah, I think the Padres make a lot of sense. Right? If you look at, if you go back to the playoffs this past year, a lot of people thought Dodgers-Padres was almost like the World Series, right? Because when you looked at those two teams, they were neck and neck. I gave like the slightest of edges for the Dodgers in that series. I thought I was making a grave mistake picking the Dodgers, right? Because I really thought the Padres could have knocked them off. But a lot of people thought that series was almost like the World Series. But the Padres, right? They got a lot of things going for them. And this move kind of fits up their alley right now because they're seem to be holding back when it comes to spending a lot of money. So we'll see if the pitch can be enough. They got a talented team. You got Darvish there. West Coast, we'll see. Again, the Mariners, I think you got to think. I mean, goodness. I mean, all you got to do is just show the rotation. I will get to the super chats at the end. You just got to show the rotation to Roki, man. That's all you got to do. Right? It's a homegrown rotation minus Luis Castillo. But the Mariners, yeah. And hey, West Coast as well. The Rangers, I wonder if they could be interesting. I think the Rangers are due for a bounce back year. I think they're going to do a bit better this coming year. Got guys healthy. DeGrom coming back. Evaldi back into the fold. The Rangers, they got talent there. They got talent, and they had Darvish for years. So we'll see. The Cubs, right? I mentioned them. I think the Cubs, right? And I think the big thing is the pitching development, right? Imanaga in the fold, Sai Suzuki. That would help, right? Everyone talks about the Dodgers, right? How they got Ohtani, Yamamoto, but the Cubs, they got two guys of their own, right? So if you want comfort, well, that could help too. Red Sox, sure. But I think the big selling point, it's obviously, they're going to say, oh, don't worry about the last few years. Don't look at that. But look at what we got now. We got Crochet. We got young guys. Our farm system's looking good. We had Dice K for years. Maybe the Red Sox. I don't know. I think the pitching development, the overhaul of the pitching department, I think is going to be the main selling point with the Red Sox. The Yankees, of course, it's the Yankees, right? Maybe he wonders, maybe I'll really think about the Yankees when it comes to free agency, maybe because we know they got the money. I'll hold off a little bit. I'll wait till free agency for the Yankees because, they were trying to give, almost $800 million for Juan Soto. I mean, if I'm pitching good, I'll get a pretty good payday from the Yankees maybe. And then for now, just don't worry about the distractions in Yankee land. But goodness, could you imagine? Could you imagine here? Cole, Fried, Roki, I mean, Rodon would be your 4. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. That would be stupid. But the Yankees, of course, right? The Mets, bring them up. Yeah, sure. Maybe. The Mets, I mean, you could maybe say the Mets, honestly. If you are looking for a smaller market, Mets fans, don't get mad at me. I'm not saying they don't have a big market. But when you compare it to the Yankees, who are worldwide, you're still going to have a lot of distractions in Queens nonetheless, right? I'm just saying it is a little less than the Yankees. Maybe that could go in their favor. You got Kadai Senga. I'll bring up a few other teams that I wonder could be dark horses. I've mentioned the Tigers before. The Tigers, man, they've done so good with their pitching over the last couple of years, man. They've done so good, right? A lot of young pitching coming up the pipe, right? You got Fetter there. I'm telling you, I wonder if the Tigers, right? If you're looking for a place to go that there's going to be no distractions, right? You want all of just the quiet time. You go to Detroit, man. Like, that's where you want to go if you want no one bugging you, right? But you got a good team there, good young talent there. I could see the Tigers, right? They got a few things. I would watch out for the Tigers, honestly. The Royals, kind of the same thing. They've done a great job with their pitching over the last couple of years. Not a lot of distractions out there. You can just kind of focus on developing. Right? They look pretty good this past year. You got a star player in Bobby Witt Jr., maybe the Kansas City Royals, right? Also throw out a clunker of a team that's no one's going to agree with. The Rays. I look at the Rays when it comes to their development, right? They're going to be at a minor league park for this year. I mean, who knows where the heck they're going to be for, are they going to be at Steinbrenner Field for the next 3 years? I mean, what's the deal? Is there just this year? I mean, I don't know. So, whatever. You'd have to get over the minor league part. But the Rays, right? Obviously, small market, but they've just done very well developing players. So we'll see. Roki Sasaki, where's he going to go? I got no freaking clue. Everyone's pretty much in it, except for the Rockies probably. But yeah, maybe even the Pirates. I mean, if you want to look at another team, how about the Pirates? I mean, look what they've done. Obviously, Paul Skeens, he was going to develop himself. That guy's a freak. But, look at what they've done with some other guys there, right? Keller's done great. Jarrett Jones came up this year, did great. Got someone like Bubba Chandler, who's been doing very well in the minors, right? Maybe the Pirates could be a kind of a shocker. Who knows? Probably not the Marlins. I'd probably say the Marlins. I think the boxes that you're going to look to check are a place that you can develop. Hopefully, maybe not too many distractions, but a team that's going to be competitive. That's what I look at. Could a team like the Brewers, a team that's competitive every single year, they've done pretty well with development. Could the Brewers get involved? We'll see. But really, when I kind of think of it, the happy medium kind of team for me would be the Padres, right? If you're factoring in everything, a team that's well built right now, not too big of a market, on the West Coast. I feel like the Padres check off a lot of boxes. And I mentioned this a while ago, and Dodger fans are coming after me with flaming pitchforks. He's going to the Dodgers. Are you crazy? Well, I don't know. You don't know the guy. I don't know. What does he want? There's no money in play here. You don't know. Moving on. Final story. I feel like I've been talking just forever. Teoscar. What's the deal with Teoscar Hernandez? I don't know. What's going on with him? But we got a report not too long ago, what was this, yesterday, that he is looking for a 3-year deal in the $22 to $24 million per year range, which I think is funny because on Baseball Trade Values, they put out their projections for a contract of 3 years. They're looking at 3 years, $60 million. Listen, I think he should absolutely get a 3-year deal. I mean, he took the 1 year. He's at 32 years old now. I would be looking for a 3-year deal, right? 32, 33, 34 years old, right? I think he should get a 3-year deal. He had such a good year. To me, I think it's a fair deal. I was thinking going into the offseason, maybe he could land that 4-year deal that could put him through his age 35 season. But I don't know. That might be pushing it. I feel like 2 years. Supposedly, according to reports, the Dodgers have offered 2 years and $60 million. There was another report out there from I'm going so blank on the name. Oh, he's a West Coast radio guy. What is his name? He's an older gentleman. He has glasses. He has his radio show on the West Coast. What is it, like Hacksaw? Is that his name? I forget his. I'm going blank. I think his nickname is Hacksaw. But he reported that he had been hearing that he wants at least 3 years, right? And that matches up with the report. And that he wants 3 years, $60 million guaranteed. Well, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why would he not want 2 years and $60 million? He would get $30 million per year. Well, again, it's not Hacksaw. Who is that guy? I'm going so blank. Who is it? Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. That's who it is. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. He has his own radio show. He's been in the business for a long time. He said that Teoscar wants 3 years, $60 million guaranteed, meaning that there could be, some options, possibly, maybe some incentives put into place, and rake and bake. Oh! But yeah, Teoscar, he wants 3 years. I think that's fair. A great year for him. He won the home run derby, helped win a World Series. He's a big part of that. He's good in the clubhouse. I think a 3-year deal for Teoscar is extremely fair. We'll see. We'll see here. Now, with the Dodgers, again, I know Dodger fans, right? You've pretty much already checked it off that he's coming back. He's already written into the lineup. I just wonder with the Dodgers, man. You brought in Conforto. No, he is not going to be an almost $20 million platoon bat. No, that's not, you're not doing that. You're not paying almost $20 million for a guy to only hit against righties. That's not how it works. So really with the Dodgers right now, you got Tommy Edman in center field. Really, the only solution to put Teoscar back in the lineup is Edman going back to the infield, playing either short or second base. And then Teoscar, you put Pages out in center field, and then there you go. Teoscar back into a corner. But is Pages the center fielder that you want? He profiles as more of a corner, in my opinion. So I don't know. Right? I think the Dodgers, they still would like to have Teoscar, but I think adding Conforto was good for them because they could still bring back Teoscar. They want to bring him back on a 2-year deal, supposedly, according to Mr. Hacksaw. But, but if they don't bring him back, then they're still going to be okay. I think the Dodgers made a good move bringing in Conforto as like insurance, because you could still work in Teoscar, all right? But if someone offers him a 3-year deal, then hey, man, I think he'll go there. Will the Red Sox do it? Will a team, if maybe like the Phillies, if they move some guys around, could Teoscar go to Philly? Could the Blue Jays, bring him back? They could use someone out in the outfield. They could use another bat as well. Vlad and Teoscar in the middle of the order. I think it makes sense. We'll see. But Teoscar, that is the most recent update. Looking for over $20 million per year. But everyone, I'm going to get out of here. We're going to wrap things up. But again, top story. We had Nolan Arenado saying, to the Astros. We're not doing that right now. Maybe they could come back together at some. Maybe the Astros improve the team a bit. But I would think if he said no, what else do the Astros? Maybe if they bring back Bregman. But no, that still wouldn't work. Because if you bring back Bregman, then you're done, right? So I don't think the Astros are going to do it now. I think they're out. So, unless if Bregman goes somewhere else, but then again, I don't know. I just don't see it now. I don't see it. But let's take a look at some super chats. I know we had a couple come in. James Alba, $4.99. Cohen will show Roki how to turn a signing bonus into generational wealth. Wolf also represents Senga. hoping Mets get a chance on the East Coast. Yeah, I mean, sure. Absolutely. I mean, I don't see why the Mets couldn't. They've had a lot of success. You just brought in Juan Soto. That's only going to help. Of course. I think the Mets will definitely have a chance. Moving on here. Let me take a look at we had a couple more super chats here. Let's take a look. We had one from Robert. No way the Astros can get Arenado now. Yeah, I don't see the Astros. I mean, bringing back Bregman's not going to do anything because he's going to go back to third, right? And you're going to put Paredes at first. So can't do that. I mean, unless maybe they could make a move to, I don't know, do something for the outfield. I don't know. I don't think the Astros are going to really be able to do all that much. Honestly, what do the Astros have projected right now for their outfield? So you got Jake Myers, Taylor Trammell, and Chas McCormick. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty. I don't like that outfield very much. That's no bueno. If maybe they could put a bat back out in the outfield, maybe Teoscar could be an option for the Astros. Could they? I mean, will they spend the money? I don't know. Maybe. Could you maybe see the Astros emerge for Mr. Teo? I don't know. But they could use something out in the outfield. So maybe if they make some moves elsewhere, maybe it could happen. All right. We'll see. We had one more here. Doyle fans, 400-pound EBT felons in a polluted poop hole. Doyer fan? You mean Dodger fan? I think you're saying Dodger fan. I'm like, who is Doyer? I don't know who Doyer is. Okay. Well, I don't know about that one. I don't know. But everyone, I'm out of here. If you can, everyone, on the way out, hit that like button for me. And if you are new, think about subscribing and go check out the video that I just posted not too long ago. I posted that, like an hour and a half ago. Go check that out. Everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate that. I'm probably not going to do a Fenway Faithful pod tonight because, I mean, this all connects with the Red Sox right now. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be saying the same thing over at Fenway Faithful. So I don't know. But everyone, I'm out of here. Go have yourself a good rest of your night. Could be back tomorrow. Hopefully we get some news. It's quiet. We need something. Please, can we have something? Have a good night, everybody. And I'll talk to you next time.